I'm going to be sharing with you what's happened to my fitness. Oh yeah, the cows are back. Here they are. Okay, I run fast to see what my fitness levels are at. And all I can say is, in today's video, we are talking about fitness. Different methods and ways of looking at fitness and how we can assess our own fitness. I'm going to be sharing with you what's happened to my fitness over the last 6 months, a year, and how hopefully what I've been doing in recent weeks is helping to bring it back again. And at the end of this video, we are going to find out exactly how fit I am when we run fast. But first of all, I've just got to say huge thank you to everybody who has watched last week's video. The return of Here We Are Running Part 1 last week. If you haven't seen it, go and watch that before you watch this one. The responses to that video, absolutely amazing, guys. I can't thank you all enough. But one way I hopefully can thank you is by producing some content that you're going to enjoy watching, and hopefully that'll be the case today. If it is, please do give the video, just so it helps with that YouTube algorithm. Oh yeah, the cows are back. Here they are. When I'm assessing my fitness, there's 3 things that I consider during a period of training and a period of trying to get fitter. The first is very, very simple. How do I feel? You know, when I'm going out for a run, like let's say it's a 10k run, how am I actually feeling during that relative to the pace that I'm running at? Is it a real struggle, or am I finding it quite easy? And that gives me some indication, not metric based or anything like that, but it just gives me some indication of where my fitness is at. Secondly, I look at my heart rate. Now, when I wasn't running much at all and my fitness was dropping considerably, I wasn't even bothering putting on a heart rate strap because there was no real point, was there? But since I've been trying to sort of come out of that and to get fitter and to get more runs done, I put the heart rate strap back on again, and it's recording a more accurate heart rate than I would get on my watch. And I compare similar runs that I might have done now this year with what I was like last year or the year before. So I'm looking at the average heart rate for those runs when the pace that I'm doing on the same route is comparable. Now that isn't something that's going to improve drastically all of a sudden. It is something that you look back on and you compare over a period of time where you've given yourself enough time to really sort of recognize that improvement. And of course, the lower your heart rate relative to the pace that you're running is better and indicates better fitness. The third one is another metric, VO2 max. Now, several things to mention about VO2 max. It is an indication of your fitness levels. Most of you will have a GPS running watch And for example, if you have Garmin Connect, it will give you an estimate of your VO2 max. That is using various metrics that Garmin is capturing, doing some calculations and coming up with a figure. I use that figure, but only relative to other times that I've looked at that metric. I wouldn't go out and say, I've got a VO2 max of that, because it really is not a pure, accurate VO2 max metric. If you wanted to get that done accurately, you'd have to go to a specialized center that gets you running on a treadmill with a mask on your face, and they're capturing all sorts of other information about oxygen levels and all that sort of stuff. But as it goes, the VO2 max from your running watch, I don't think it's a bad indication when, again, you sort of look at it over that longer period of time. The higher your VO2 max, the indication is you're going to be more fitter. Now, my VO2 max right at the moment is 49. At my lowest level of fitness, it was 48. So even though I've been trying to get fitter over the last several months, the VO2 max has only gone up by 1.
Several years ago, when I was at my fittest, I came here to Earlswood Lakes because there is a nice flat piece of pavement of a distance of about a mile. And I ran my fastest mile that day. It was just under 6 minutes. And I've come here again today just to see how fast I can run with my current level of fitness. Oh, and by the way, I've brought the super shoes because I need every little bit of help I can get right now.
Right, let's see just how fast I am.
And we are off. And firstly, apologies for the camera angle here. Seeing a lot of pavement. It does sort itself out a little bit later. I'm not sure really what happened there, but never mind. Learn for the next time. And as you can see on the right hand side of the screen, we've got the timer, and we've got the route that we're taking, and the distance, along with the pace and my heart rate. My heart rate's increasing as we're starting off this run, and we start with a very slight slope. It's the one sort of slight slope upwards. There's another sort of slope downwards in a little while. But as I said before, this is largely a flat course. And as we sort of get going here, I thought I'd just recap on the distance I've been covering across the last year. You can see on the screen now, month by month basis and also week by week basis across the year. You can see sort of this time last year, across the summer, I was building up a bit of distance in my preparation for pacing at the Run Reigate half marathon in September. After that, it really started to decline towards the back end of the year. And okay, December picked up a little bit. That was largely because I had a week off work and I like to go running when I have a week off work. It then declined further in January, February and March, but things did pick up. I put the effort in across April. I wanted to kickstart things, so I did a run every day of April and lasted for about three and a half weeks. So that really did kickstart things, and whilst we sort of went backwards a little bit in May, you can see June has already matched the distance I covered across the whole of May, and on a week by week basis you can see we are picking up things again, and that's really April onwards is really where I sort of kick-started things, and that's where we've built up this little level of fitness that we've got at the moment. Right, as we carry on here, we're over half a kilometre done already, and we're approaching one of two junctions that it could really slow me down on this run. This is the entrance into Earlswood Lakes. Oh, and there's a car coming in and just gets ahead of me. So I didn't have to slow at all for that. Very lucky, got away with that one. And as you can see now, we've picked up the pace a little bit. We're at 3:45 per kilometre, 3:40 per kilometre there. As we come along, you can see along the hedgerow there is a bit of a breeze here today, and I think that really sort of impacted me most as we turned the corner into the final part of the run. But we've got to halfway already, guys, and we're doing okay. 3:30 per kilometre there we hit, and the heart rate's up to 173, 174, still rising. We've got one more junction to sort of hope that we haven't got any cars turning into, and that's where you can see the corner coming up towards the end of the run. Right, we're almost at a kilometre, so we'll just mark ourselves when we get to the kilometre how fast we did the first kilometre in, and it's coming up any moment now. There we go. So, you know, 3:34 for the first kilometre. Gotta admit, wasn't expecting to be that quick. Have I gone off too quick? Am I going to be able to hold this or not? To wait and see. Haven't got long to wait because we've only got, well, just over half a kilometre to run now until the end of this mile. But things are going to get a bit tough because that is a lot quicker than I was expecting to run the first kilometre in, and you can see we're still holding a pretty quick pace here. 3:45, 3:40 per kilometre. Heart rate's now up to 177 beats per minute, and we've just got half a kilometre to go. Now very, very soon you're going to see some feet first and then some legs in the distance there of another runner. Now that's going to help me a lot because I'm already seeing him and I'm already thinking, right, that's my target, that's where I've got to get to, and that's where I'm looking for. So we're slowly reeling him in, but that's keeping me going for sure on this fast mile. Now this turn we're going to do, it's actually the turn that you would take if you were going to the local accident and emergency hospital, so we do want to be careful on this bend because we don't want to be taken to that hospital in an ambulance. We want to run towards it instead. Right, coming up to the turn now, we're going to take a quick glance, there we go, nothing coming, great, we can cross over, we can follow that runner ahead of us, and again we've got lucky on this one. We haven't had to slow at all for those sort of two junctions. There's one more side road, but that's not going to trouble us. There's going to be no traffic along that one. Right, we're getting really close now to this runner ahead. We're at 4 minutes per kilometre pace, so we did slow slightly there, but we're going to speed up a little bit to overtake him. And we've really not got much left of this mile at all now. The final part of it coming up as we try to hold that 350 per kilometre, cross over this road, and then we're going to be coming towards the end any moment now. And that's it, we are done.
Okay, I run fast to see what my fitness levels are at, and all I can say is I wasn't expected to run that fast.
So there you have it, a 6:13 mile, much quicker than I thought I was going to run this week, compared to a 5:47 mile when I ran it back in November 2020 when my fitness was much better. Back in November 2020, average heart rate of 145 beats per minute and maxing out at 156, compared to an average of 169 beats per minute this time round, maxing out at 178. And you can also see in terms of the zones, back in 2020 we didn't get out of zone 4. This time round we were mainly in zone 5 for the entire run. So you can see that although, you know, relatively speaking, I'm not a huge amount slower, but the heart rate is much higher to maintain that speed.
you are all up to speed at where my fitness is at right at the moment. But the most important thing is I'm enjoying the journey again, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, as always, please do hit the thumbs up button to give the video a like, and if you're new around here, why not consider subscribing? But for now, guys, goodbye.